It is another gorgeous day here in the Bay Area. The final game of the series, the Mariners and the Oakland Athletics. The Mariners a chance for a 3-game sweep. They're taking it pretty seriously out of the parking lot. This is looking more like Milwaukee or Kansas City. Mariners fans making their way inside the Coliseum as we are just about set for baseball. And we take a look, Mike, at this red-hot Mariners lineup.
And Ben Gamble going to lead things off again. Segura out of the lineup. Ben with 3 hits in last night's ballgame. Nelson Cruz 7 home runs this year versus the A's. So hopefully he'll hit a home run today. We'll see. And Kyle Seager back in the lineup. He was out of the lineup last night. A rare day off for Kyle, but back in the lineup hitting 5th this afternoon. And for Kendall Graveman, 18 starts on the year, 6-4 record, a 4.17 ERA, and 99 1/3. He has 66 strikeouts, over 31 walks. Look at the defense. Chris Davis will get the start out in left field again. The Mariners will try to run on him if they have the chance. Franklin Barreto at second base, their prospect. He's getting the start, his first start of the series, and Bruce Maxwell will do the catching. For Graveman against the Rangers, 7 innings, 6 hits. He pitched well, just 1 earned run, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts for him. He threw 101 pitches. Again, a ground ball pitcher. He will throw his fastball a lot this afternoon.
Now, 2 of his last 3 starts have been quality starts. Also a run over 6 innings here at home against the Astros near the start of the month. Once again, Ben Gamble leading things off for the Mariners. Gamble a nice night last night. 3 hits, a couple of doubles, drove in a run. He looks at strike 1 to begin the ball game.
First pitch, 12:37.
Remember the crash into the wall that Ben had in game 1 of the series?
Yes.
Saw Ben at the elevator last night at the hotel. I said, "Were you feeling that today?" He said, "Oh no, that was not." He said, "Now the one in Minnesota, that one I felt for a while."
And he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quick out number 1. Brings up Mitch Haniger. Tom Woodring, our home plate umpire. Ted Barrett, the crew chief, is over at third base today. Strike 1 to Haniger.
For Graveman on the year, he's thrown his fastball about 70% of the time. Switched things up a little bit in his last outing against Texas. We showed you the numbers. He pitched well. Threw his changeup more. His changeup about 21% against the Rangers. So we'll see if he uses his changeup today. Opponent's hitting 284 off of his fastball.
Graveman is very similar to this A's team in total. Very extreme home road splits. Look at his numbers here in the Coliseum. 10 starts, an ERA of 2.79. 8 starts on the road, an ERA over 6.25. And you look at the A's overall this season. At home, they are 10 games over 500. On the road, 23 games under 500. Maybe that underscores how impressive taking the first 2 games of the series might be for the Mariners. Much different team at home than on the road for whatever reason. Again, the 2-2. Runs it full.
Do you have a theory for that?
You know,
or is it just one of those years?
I think something that we kind of all run into the trap of is feeling like we have to explain certain things in this game, and I think some things are just unexplainable.
And I think it's just one of those years. Although I will say that as a visiting player, I think it can be difficult to get excited about these games sometimes here in this ballpark.
Maybe the A's take advantage of that a little bit.
Maybe.
Lengthy at bat by Haniger, down on strikes. Good fastball from Graveman.
Gets him to chase it off the plate away.
Running in the 3rd position.
See a lot of sink to it.
Number 22, Robinson Cano.
2 up, 2 down. Here's Robbie. Knocking on the door of 100 RBIs. He's got 94. I'm not sure that this factors into that equation at all, but it is interesting. I found it very interesting when Mike Zunino said that he loves the batter's eye here at the Coliseum.
Yeah, it's one of the better ones. I think you'll hear that from a number of players.
As you look at it, is there anything that stands out as to maybe why that is?
I think if there was one thing for me, there's not a lot of lights out there in the background or off to the sides.
Well, nighttime, there are legitimate shadows out there in center field. Batter's eye here at the Coliseum. A couple of ground ball out to Barreto, a strikeout as well. The Mariners retired in order. Erasmo Ramirez about to climb the mound. You know, seagulls can be a little bit of a problem, especially post-game here. And they have installed, this is a true story, kites to resemble birds of prey here at the Coliseum to try to keep those seagulls away. We'll be the judge of that come around the 8th inning as we take a look now at the A's lineup, Mike.
You want to be careful with the cleanup hitter, Chris Davis. A 2-run home run last night, 42 home runs on the year. See the 3 home runs over the last 4 games for him. Mark Hanna, 3 for 5 with 2 home runs against Ramirez in his career. And Franklin Barreto, again, top prospect, will round out the 9 for the A's.
Now, Ramirez has really pitched nicely for the Mariners since coming back to the organization from Tampa Bay. We're talking about James Paxton last night in his string of 9 consecutive quality starts. Well, Ramirez has the longest run of quality starts behind Paxton this year in a Mariners uniform. Did it in a career best 6.
His average fastball this year, 92 miles an hour. Again, using his cutter and using it quite a bit at 89. That's so he can get to his changeup. Changeup at 84 miles an hour. Opponent's hitting just 186 against his changeup. And he typically throws a lot of strikes.
Full count. Broken bat and a ground ball out to Taylor Motter, who has handled the shortstop duties here in Oakland. How about the rest of that Mariners defense?
Jacob Hanneman getting another start in center field. Daniel Vogelbach getting his first start since being recalled. And Mike Margema will do the catching this afternoon. A different looking defensive setup for the Mariners.
One out for Matt Joyce. Joyce had the task last night of coming off the bench in the 9th inning facing Edwin Diaz, which is never easy. Diaz picking up his 33rd save of the season. Soars the first pitch into shallow left field. Seager having to cover some ground. Gamble comes in and is able to. Oh, nope, can't get it. Joyce winds up at second.
Seemed that Ben ended up, he called Kyle off at the last minute. Tried to make a basket catch. High sky today. You can see the sun off of his sunglasses. Sure he saw it real well. But he went off the heel of his glove.
One out double for Joyce. Man in scoring position early on here for Jed Lowry. Looks at strike one. Mariners a chance for the sweep today, a day off tomorrow in Anaheim, and the final 3 games of the season against the Angels. It'll be interesting to see once we get to Peoria next year what exactly the role for Erasmo Ramirez is, a guy who can pitch in just about any role and has outside of the 9th inning, and has really proven his tremendous value in the rotation for the Mariners.
I think he comes to spring training as part of the 5.
Have to think so, right?
I would think so with the way that he has pitched, and this will be his last outing of the year, but his last start against Cleveland was very strong.
On a hop to Haniger, Joyce a wide turn and retreats to third base. But he's been a really good addition and somebody that has helped to keep the Mariners in the wild card hunt as long as they were.
Again, I think him throwing his cutter more has been a game changer for him, and one of the things that the Mariners like is somebody to command the strike zone, and he seems to be doing that. And now you have the changeup, which has been an excellent pitch for him. See him talking to Kyle Seager, he's going to try to get a ground ball. But I would think that he would have to be in the rotation, and he stays healthy. So
that's a great point. You mentioned his command, 3 walks total over his last 3 starts. Compare that to 22 strikeouts. The ever dangerous Chris Davis, 3 home runs his last 4 games. Davis has matched his career high with 42 home runs. That matches his total from last year.
Hit his 42nd home run in last night's game. Tried to pitch him inside. It's a fastball, pretty good fastball, right on the inside corner, kind of an inside out swing, and was able to hit it out to right center. Tremendous power the other way.
Ramirez trying to work around a 1-out Sun double, then a Lowry single. Gets a strike across. 1-2 now. When the Mariners came to town, the A's were red hot. They'd won 7 in a row. They'd won 8 straight at home. The Mariners have taken the first 2 games of this series. Good stop by Marjama. Getting his first start in the majors. The 2-2.
And another good fastball. That fastball in off the plate, getting him to chase it at 92 miles an hour. Mariners straight up in the outfield.
Haniger gives way now to Hanneman. Joyce tagging, and he slides. He is safe. Not a particularly deep ball.
Might be a situation, again, Hanneman getting his second start, where in the future he probably is going to let Haniger take this. Haniger with a strong throwing arm. A little bit off balance, had to run. He just wanted to make sure he was going to make the catch. And again, you're dealing with the sun, so I understand all of that. Marjama had to go out in front of home plate. If it was on the plate, they probably have a chance to get him.
Two outs. Jed Lowry still at first base, and steps Ryan Healy. Second straight game the A's have scored in the first inning. Ramirez behind, 2 balls and a strike to Healy. Here comes a 2-1. Shot out to Hanneman in center. He's got space. That will end the bottom of the first. A man left, but a runner is in on Chris Davis and the sacrifice fly. A's the early lead. Root Sports is brought to you by your local Ford stores. By Safeco Insurance, find a local agent at Safeco.com. Do more. And by the Emerald Queen Casino, presenting an evening with Queen Latifah November 4th. Tickets at EmeraldQueen.com. Very pleasant early afternoon here in Oakland. Nelson Cruz leads off the second. On the first pitch, In out of the glove of Chapman, and Nelson Cruz is aboard. Chapman, who we have seen make some really brilliant plays over at third base.
Well, sometimes you can just get yourself into trouble, and that's what happens right here. The second out, you see him, he started in, and then he started to get grounded by then with the top spin that you're going to get, especially with Nelson Cruz hitting, just takes off on him. I'm going to give Nelson a base hit. Kyle Seager back in the lineup, did not play last night. A rare day off for him.
Looks at ball one from Graveman. Seager with 25 home runs on the season. The Mariners have swatted 6 homers over the first 2 games here in Oakland. Four of those home runs coming in game 1. Seager down on strikes. Second punch out for Graveman.
The way that they looked at his batting glove, I think the bat maybe slipped in his hand.
Batting in the 6th position, first baseman, number 20, Daniel Vogelbach.
Here's Vogelbach. 22 at bats this year in the majors.
Being recalled, he's had some tough pinch hitting duties.
I was going to say, this is the first time he's not facing a closer in a while.
Somebody throwing 100. The one thing that I have liked, though, is he's been aggressive. He's swinging the bat.
Floating foul over by the bullpen. Out of everyone's reach.
Saw him earlier in the year, even in spring training. He was taking a lot of pitches, and at this level, start falling behind in counts, most of these pitchers will be able to put you away, and I like the fact that he's going up there swinging. And I think for the most part he has stayed in the strike zone. He's not expanding it. So if they're trying to throw him a fastball early, he's trying to hit it.
He had 2 really tough bats in particular against Ken Giles in Houston.
Yeah.
So a lot of sliders. Shot high, the opposite way, carrying back to the track. Davis is there. There's out number 2. Cruz reached on the infield single back to first. Now this season, for every Mariners hit, Fred Hutch will receive a donation from Mariners Care and the Kyle Seager vs. Cancer Foundation. Hits for Hutch is our way of supporting the life-saving research taking place at Seattle's own Fred Hutchinson Cancer Research Center. Two outs, a man aboard for Taylor Motter. Of Motter's 7 home runs this year, 2 have been grand slams, and one of them coming in this very ballpark. We've talked before about the oddities of grand slams, Mike, and how sometimes it's amazing accomplished players who have either none or very few. So last night Andrew McCutchen hit his first career grand slam.
Is that right?
Talking about an MVP here.
You're right. Yeah, it is surprising how it works that way sometimes. And
meanwhile, Manny Machado hit about 3 on a road trip earlier this year. I think he's up to 8 for his career, something around that neighborhood.
Which is what you would kind of expect from a player like that.
Chapman fields this bounce cleanly. Motter hustling, but is out at first base. We'll see if Scott wants to take a look at this. As of right now, this inning is over. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Here in Oakland, final game of the series. We move to the bottom of the second. A's leading 1-0. We take a look ahead. A day off tomorrow for the Mariners. Our CenturyLink What's Next Friday on the air at 6:30. Marco Gonzalez gets his 8th start. The former Zag going for the Mariners. TBA for Mike Scioscia. There is Matt Chapman. Scioscia might use a reliever or two that game.
I think that he probably will.
Or 8. Broken bat off the hands of Flair into center. In between Robbie and Hanneman. Oh, no doubt Chapman's had a ball scalded to somebody this year. Caught. That one makes up for it.
We'll take a look at it. Pretty good fastball in on his hands. Shatters his bat.
Leadoff man aboard for Bruce Maxwell. 3 hits early for the Oakland A's. Their lone run coming home on a Chris Davis sac fly. The first run in this series by the A's that has not been driven in on a homer. In fact, it's even more than that. It's only the second run on either side in this series that has not been brought home courtesy of a home run. The Mariners received a very vanilla RBI double from Ben Gamble late in last night's game. Two 2-0. One hopper, Vogelback in stride, a lob down to second, Motter to first. Ramirez covering the bag for a pretty double play.
Take a look at Daniel. Pretty good throwing lane. Easy throw for Motter to handle, and I like that Motter gave Ramirez plenty of time to get to the base at first, get himself set up. He ended up throwing him a pretty good fastball. Complete the double play.
Why Drives away that leadoff single by Chapman. Brings up Mark Canha. Now for Ramirez, he has certainly done his part. His last 8 starts, a 3.14 ERA, and opposing hitters are barely batting .200 against him. The tough part, those 8 games, the Mariners 3-5, despite some really good numbers.
I think he is somebody that, because he throws a lot of strikes, we're talking about him next year being a part of the rotation. He's somebody that will pitch 6-7 innings, I think, consistently, because he'll be able to keep his pitch count down. And as we know, especially after the last 2 years, that's something that
you could win a Cy Young with that type of approach, Mike.
Yeah, exactly right.
Robbie with the sunglasses on makes the catch, and the side retired. Despite that leadoff single, Ramirez faces the minimum. We take a look at the Mariners calendar, brought to you by Mattress Firm. Tomorrow, a day off for the Mariners. They will spend it in Orange County. 3-game weekend series against the Angels. The game on Sunday, the first, will be a noon first pitch. Postseason begins after that. Mike Margema getting the start here today, batting 8th. Mariners starting catcher this afternoon. First big league start for Margema, 28 years old, from nearby, from Roseville, California, just northeast of Sacramento. About a 2-hour drive, depending on traffic, to Oakland. Routine play there by Barreto, the young second baseman.
In the 9th position, center fielder.
I would think that we'll probably see the younger players play quite a bit over the last few games.
No word yet, kind of along those lines, Mike, as to whether or not Paxton will start on Sunday, or whether or not that will be someone else. If possibly last night was Paxton's last start of the season.
It's always an interesting time of the year because the managers want to get the kids in there and give them a chance to play, but you also have to take care of your veteran guys, and if they're close to getting certain numbers, you know, you give them an opportunity to get there. I think, you know, you look at the Mariners lineup, Robbie would like to get to 100 RBIs, and you know, you have to give him a lot of credit. He's been in the lineup just about every day and played hurt, so now you have to give him a chance to try to get there. We talked about Nelson getting to 40 home runs, so you just kind of look at some of those things and maybe even have a conversation with the player, but you'd like to get the younger guys in there too. Where's James? And he topped out at 98 miles an hour last night.
Maybe some new equipment needed here.
Yeah, I think his glove.
Am I saying you hearing you say that about milestones reminds me of Kyle Seager's last at bat last season, sitting on 99 RBIs, and he hit one to the top of the fence and it was caught.
Yeah.
And the look on Kyle's face kind of said it all once that was over with. That close.
Well, you just don't know how many times in your career you're going to have that type of opportunity and to be that close.
Well, 99 ribbies, that's some tremendous production, but there is some symmetry that it lacks. 30 and 99 versus 30 and 100.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Soft chopper.
Nobody at first.
Graveman covering, and some good speed by Hanneman. Hanneman's 2 base hits in the majors have not left the infield, but some good speed.
Well, he has good speed, so may as well use it. We talked about Graveman. He's going to try to keep the ball on the ground, and that's what happens right here.
Now batting, number 16, Ben Gamble.
It's one of those plays you see it quite a bit. But for Healy, he'll probably make that play if he goes to the bag and lets the second baseman Barreto take it. And normally it wouldn't be a problem, but because Hanneman can run, it makes it a little bit tougher and puts more pressure on the pitcher to get over there in time.
1 out, 1 on for Ben Gamble.
Fourth game in a row for Gamble in the leadoff spot. Had 3 hits in last night's game. Grounded out to second his first time up this afternoon. Yeah, you can see the second baseman right there, but that's a break. He'll take the base hit. Pretty good lead at first.
Hanneman taken off, slides in, tag, out. Maxwell showing off the arm behind home.
Well, this is how Scott Service is going to find out what these guys can do. Lets him run. Pretty good throw, clearly out.
The 2-0. An appeal, he does not go. And Graveman showing some velocity today. Count pushes full. Maybe I'm just not remembering clearly, Mike, but didn't remember Graveman flashing 96 before.
I think a lot of that is because you think of him being a ground ball pitcher, which he is, and so you don't give him the opportunity to have that type of velocity. You would think more 89 to 91, but his average fastball this year has been 93. Seen him hit 94 a number of times, but he has some pretty good sink to it.
Slicing out to Davis in left field, who comes chugging in to make the catch. Despite that infield single, Graveman faces the minimum in the top of the third. We go to the home half. leading as we open up the bottom of the third. Well, join the club with 2018 Mariners season tickets with a selection of full season and 20 game plans. There's a plan for every fan. Choose your seat today when you visit mariners.com/18 for details. Franklin Barreto, the number 9 hitting second baseman, looks at strike one. All right, Mike, I'm going to throw a couple of numbers your way. I want to tell you about a pitcher, and I'm going to have you identify this pitcher, which you won't be able to do. No one would be able to do it. Based simply on this: over 160 innings, 27 starts, and an ERA of 3.75. 160 innings, 3.75, almost 30 starts. That was Erasmo Ramirez in 2015. As we were talking about how he profiles for next year and where he can fit in and how he can help. That was the year after he was traded by the Mariners to Tampa Bay, his first year in St. Pete. That was his high water mark in terms of innings and starts. Twice he's been an 100-inning guy, which doesn't really tell the whole story because, as we know, he's worked out of the bullpen over the stretches of his career.
I think, again, the thing that I've noticed from him, obviously seen him a lot, that he was traded away. Give up a base hit right here by a cutter that was in the middle of the plate. Now Hanneman's going to kick it out in center field.
Beretta showing some wheels.
Yeah.
And to third.
Really good speed. That'll be a base hit and an error. We'll take a look at it. Gets there in pretty good shape. Right off the heel of his glove. Again, this outfield is probably the worst outfield right now in the big leagues because they've played football here, and so it's torn up. But he's going to go for second the entire way, and then once he sees the ball get away from Hanneman, moves on to third.
That's a double and an E8.
But for Ramirez, I think he's gained a lot of confidence, and then he's come up with that cut fastball. He's throwing it more, which I think is helping his changeup. I mean, you just mentioned it. 27 starts, 160, a 3.75. I think Scott would take that right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Nobody out. The infield is back.
The 2-1 to Simeon. Makes it 3-1. This is smoked out to center. Hanneman to the track. Barreto able to come home easily. Both runs for the A's coming home on sacrifice flies out to center field.
Now batting right fielder, 23, Matt Joyce.
That brings up number 2 hitter Matt Joyce getting the start today in right field. As we talk about innings and pitchers, at last look, there were 6 teams in the majors who did not have a qualifying pitcher for the ERA title. Now, the Mariners are one of them. We'll see what happens to Miranda the rest of the way, but he's a couple of innings shy still.
I heard you talking about that a couple of days ago. And I'm wondering how normal that is.
That was the next level.
Yeah.
To see kind of where that fits in with recent seasons. But it's incredible. Playoff teams like the Astros do not have a qualifying pitcher. Now Verlander is there now, but those innings came with the Tigers, obviously.
Yeah, because to me that seems strange, but maybe it's not.
Dodgers have 100 wins. They have one qualifying pitcher. Now, to be fair, to look at the whole scope of things, the clubhouse leader is 4. This gets over Vogelback's glove for a fair ball. Joyce doubled earlier. He digs into second, 2 for 2, a couple of doubles today.
They're a double for the A's. Yeah, I was just because I was listening to you talk about it, and I started to think, well, it seems strange, but maybe it's not.
Especially in recent years.
Yeah, maybe it's not. I think you gave JJ down in the truck something to do, Aaron.
That's a daily obligation. One out, a run in, and a man in scoring position. Last year there were 2 teams, Pirates and the Padres. Iwakuma was the Mariners' qualifying pitcher. Kendall Graveman, today's A starter, was theirs. Cubs and Blue Jays led the pack last season with 5 qualifying starting pitchers. I got it, JJ. Lowry batting with a man in scoring position. Single back in the first. Lift back to the warning track. Haniger up to the wall, able to make the catch. Joyce tagging to third.
That's a pretty good play because he's dealing with the sun. The ball had some carry to it. He knew he was on the warning track, but he times his jump perfectly.
Our Big Fish Casino big catch.
Sometimes when you're drifting back like that, you can see him. You get a little bit too close to the wall and you'll start to jump and you'll hit the wall and not be able to get up as high as you would think. So that was timed perfectly.
Ball and a strike to Davis. Let's take that qualifying conversation just to the full circle. It's 1 inning per game played by your team. So 162 games, 162 innings at that point. So things are still changing as each game gets played. A team could easily add a qualifier. But in terms of
that doesn't seem like a lot to me.
162 innings.
No, it doesn't.
I mean, especially when you think of a guy like, I was surprised that Keuchel wasn't on that list for the Astros. Now, he spent time on the disabled list, but Keuchel is a guy who typically is at least 6 innings every time he's out there.
And I would think most, or at least you would have 2, possibly, hopefully 3 starters that would take 30 to 32 starts, right? Well,
you would think. Nice catch there by Hanneman, right to him. Off the bat of Davis, ends the inning. Sacrifice fly has the A's on top 2-0. MLB.com at bat is your #1 mobile app for live Mariners baseball. Stay connected with a fully customizable experience. Get Mariners home screen icons and app features, as well as game day, live game video highlights, radio broadcast, statcast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at bat today. Mechaniger leads it off for the Mariners. Looks at strike one. Chapman to his left. Gathers. One down.
Now batting, number 22.
One out for Robinson Cano. Robbie becoming the 8th player in baseball history to hit their 300th home run in a Mariners uniform, joining Nelson Cruz this year. Joining the 300 homer, 500 double club in the same year. Smoked up the middle for a base hit. A one-out single by Cano. First hit for the Mariners that leaves the infield today. 3rd hit in total. Here comes Nelson Cruz.
Nelson with a base hit his first time up.
Now batting, number 23, Nelson Cruz.
37 home runs this year, and 7 of them against the A's.
Nelson on the season is batting 46 points higher with runners in scoring position than his overall season average,
which is terrific.
This is scalded by the pole, and
wow.
It is fair gone. A laser beam home run that just blew up a seat.
Forward to the exit velocity on that. That ball he was out in front of, and it was trying to hook foul, but he hit it so hard it didn't have time to hook foul. 38th home run of the year. Wow. Right in the middle of the plate. How about that sound?
Oh, yo, watch out.
Wow.
2 more to 40. $117 miles an hour.
Wow.
Brand new ball game as Seager gets his legs taken out.
That might be his best this year. I know we've seen 114, 115, but 117 might be his best this year.
That home run is very reminiscent of a home run that Kyle Seager was talking to us about a little while ago. And we've mentioned this before. Chapman a long way to go for it as he's able to slow down. To catch it about the 9-yard line over there. And that is a home run that Nelson actually hit off of Felix his lone year in Baltimore at Safeco Field. That was hit so low to the ground that Seager actually jumped for it at 3rd base. And it's made its way right over the wall into the cantina. And Seager thought off the bat, oh, maybe I got to play on this. Oh, no, never mind. It's a home run.
By the time he landed,
some fan had made the catch.
Yeah. Wow. Talked about Daniel Vogelbach being more aggressive this time around. I think that's going to serve him well. Go out to the warning track in left field his first time up.
Well, Mike, that was in fact Nelson's hardest hit home run this year. If you want to get real nitty gritty, he had a double at 117.8 miles an hour, but that is the hardest hit home run by Nelson Cruz this year. Aaron Judge, no surprise, has the hardest hit homer, 121 miles an hour this season. In fact, Judge has the top two, 119. Stanton had hit a home run at 118.7. I beg your pardon, that was a double. Doesn't count. Doesn't count.
Doesn't count.
Not impressed. Vogelbach rung up, caught looking. That ends the inning, but a brand new ball game. Nelson Cruz. This is worth another look. And listen, 2-run shot on a line. We're tied. At 2. Well, the Yorker card is all you need to ride the Sounder train. Link light rail, buses, ferries, and streetcars. Learn more at getorcasmart.com. Nelson Cruz home run. That was his 38th of the year, his 37th as a DH. Hit one in the National League in a National League ballpark in D.C. He has tied Edgar's club record for most home runs as a DH with 37. Strike one to Ryan Healy, having a conversation. Mike, you were shaking your head. Is that just because of the absurdity that is Nelson Cruz, or?
Well, yeah, I was laughing along with it, but it's just it's so much fun to watch him hit home runs. Whether they're line drives like that one was, or just the towering home runs. I believe it was here last year when he hit it up on the glass out there.
Into a window.
Into a window, which I've never seen before. But then, to give you an idea, too, you see a veteran like Ruiz sitting next to him who has seen a lot of home runs, and he's even laughing about it.
This is dropping quickly. Haniger diving, can't make the catch. Healy steams into second base. Seen a couple of close calls by Mariners outfielders so far today.
And another double for the A's, their fourth double. Wasn't sure if Mitch was going to be able to get there in time. You see him diving right towards the end of his glove, and when he hits the ground, it pops out. Great effort.
26, Matt Chapman.
I think your point, Mike, among other things, his home runs are fairly unique more times than not.
Oh, I think so. Yeah, he's special. And even when we were watching the replay and he had the one with the sound, just the way it sounds coming off his bat, it's just different.
Go ahead run in scoring position. Here is Chapman. Dropping down a bunt. Knuckles foul. Well, Nelson has a chance to be one of the oldest players to win an RBI title. He's 36 years old. Edgar in 2000 won the RBI title in the American League as a 37-year-old. Drove in 145. Off Ramirez's glove, trying to find it with a bare hand. Offline. Vogelback able to put a glove on it, but Chapman is safe. Vogelback helping to keep Healy at third base as opposed to coming down the line.
A little bit surprised that Ramirez rushes this throw. You expect it from a much younger player that maybe they would panic a little bit, but you take a look at it, he gets to in good shape and just doesn't set his feet. Good play by Daniel to keep from going down into the bullpen. Mel Stottlemyre Jr. out of the dugout. Going to have a conversation with him. Nobody getting loose in the pen.
Runners in scoring position for Maxwell.
A quick visit. You mentioned Nelson at 115 at the start of today, so now 117, and Judge at 109. Upton, who they're going to see this weekend, also at 109.
Upton having a career year in many ways. That will go down as an error on Ramirez. A's have the go-ahead run 90 feet from home. Healy, the leadoff double, now at third. Chapman reaching on the air by Erasmo Ramirez. Count pushes to 3-0. Hanneman shaded far towards left as Canna gets ready on deck. Gets a strike across by just enough to make it 3-1. Up the middle, base hit. A's have the lead. Healy scores. Chapman gets on his way to third, and they're safely. A's replace runners on the corners. They bring Healy in. They're on top 3-2.
And their first base hit with a runner in scoring position. They've struggled as a team, hitting .232, but Maxwell finds a base hit on this ground ball right back up the middle.
Brings up Mark Canna. Erasmo still looking for out number 1 here in the fourth. Mariners will have to come from behind today to extend what is an 8-game winning streak against Oakland. 12-6 overall this season against the A's. They've now won the season series against Oakland every year since 2013. 0-2. Ramirez pitching with runners at first and third. Count still 1-2.
He's throwing him a couple of good changeups down out of the strike zone. Pulling them both foul.
Nelson Cruz gave the Mariners a temporary tie with that 2-run home run in the top of the 4th. A's have taken the lead here in the bottom half. Haniger lines it up. Chapman ready to run. Here comes a throw. Chapman barreling towards the plate. He slides across safe. Third sacrifice fly for the A's. They extend the lead 4-2.
Haniger has a strong throwing arm. Gets in good position too. A little momentum going towards home. Chapman just runs too well. Ball a little bit too deep.
Here comes a rookie Franklin Barreto. Going after the first pitch.
Ramirez with a good changeup today.
Working ahead 0-2.
Slider well off the plate away, trying to get him to chase it. He was able to do that, but he gets a piece of it. Maybe throw it a little bit further away. He'll swing at it again.
Another 0-2. Now Ramirez really having to labor his last 2 innings and the first 21 pitches then as well. Helped out by a double play in the second. Picks up a much needed out number 2. Barreto retired.
And for Ramirez, he has thrown 20 pitches in the inning.
Shortstop, number 10, Marcus Semien.
Back to the top of the order brings up Marcus Semien. First strikeout today for Ramirez. Ball 1 barely missing. Well, these 3 sacrifice flies, the most hit by the A's since 2014. Go back to the early 50s. 5 is the record for any team. Most recently done by the Mariners in 2008. 5 sacrifice flies against Kansas City. Now 2-0.
See, the first pitch strikes are not where he would like it to be. Typically he wants to work ahead. That hasn't been the case so far this afternoon. Struggling, comes back with a 2-0 changeup and misses badly with it.
Robbie out for a talk. Ramirez trying to get out of a lengthy 4th. That won't help. Very close, but ball 4.
Now batting right fielder, number 23.
2 on, 2 out. It brings up Matt Joyce.
Joyce having a good afternoon. A couple of doubles for him. He's also scored a run.
On the first pitch, roped into the corner, another base hit. This will do some damage. Maxwell coming around. Semien gets held at third. And it continues for Joyce. 3 for 3 with 3 doubles. (5-2) Oakland.
And being aggressive. They want to go to the inside corner. Pretty good pitch on the corner. Joyce is just locked in this afternoon. As Aaron mentioned, 3 doubles for him now. Picks up an RBI. These are 3 for 6 with runners in scoring position. Ryan Garden starting to get loose.
First pitch strike to Lowry. Three-quarters of the way around, nothing in 2.
Tied him up with the cutter.
Lowry, the 8th batter of the inning. Time call. Inside again, missing 2-2.
And this next pitch will be 30 in the inning.
Marjima holds on to it. And Lowry ends the fourth. A few runs in fact, coming home for the A's. They're on top 5-2. Sports is brought to you by Safeco Insurance. Find a local agent at safeco.com. Do more. You know, they've got something new this year here at the Coliseum, a fantastic addition, the Food Truck Mafia, which is just outside the plaza level here at the ballpark. Some good eats each and every day before the game.
I think as far as our group goes, I haven't been to every truck they have out there.
They do change it, but, you know, we're here pretty often.
Yeah. And we're here for 3 days.
Right.
It stays the same for the 3 days.
1 ball and 1 strike. Motter out to center field, very playable as Canada comes patrolling in for round number 1. Well, you won the food showcase with the 28-ounce chocolate ice cream that you brought to the booth yesterday.
Yesterday, yeah, it was amazing.
There's a lot of envy going on into this booth.
I thought I did pretty well. I made it my way about halfway through it.
It was very impressive.
Yeah. And it was good.
I noticed you had only 1 spoon, so I said nothing.
That's why you had the tears.
Didn't think there was that obvious. Here's Marjima. The second at bat. Grounded out to second base earlier today. Marjima, a pretty interesting story on a couple of fronts. One, a new member of the Mariners, drafted by the White Sox, made his way to the Rays. Now with Seattle. 7 minor league seasons under his belt. About a .275 hitter. But Andy McKay is the Mariners farm director. He's in his 2nd season. And Andy's got a pretty strong coaching background. In fact, he was the coach of a junior college team. Marjima, who was a high school shortstop, was actually recruited by Andy to play for Andy for his junior college ball club. Marjima did not make the team his freshman year. And now here Andy is alongside Jerry Dipoto and Scott Service trading for Marjima. and bringing him over to Seattle. So Andy and Mike Marjama go back a long ways, back to high school.
And he gets a base hit.
His first in the majors. Congratulations, Mike Marjama. Take that ball for a souvenir. Awfully big moment.
Now batting,
Let's see if there's any trickery here. Tim Bogar,
Yeah.
protecting that, polishing it up a little bit. Now, what's the process here, Mike? That needs to get authenticated somehow, right?
That'll happen. That will definitely happen. They'll take care of it. There it is. Solid base hit into left field. He had been 0 for 3. Now 1 for 4. So a batting average for him.
You know, every ballpark, every game of the majors, there is an authenticator. And anytime you see, well, especially a momentous play, momentous home run, for example, oftentimes you'll see that souvenir come back, that ball with a little hologram sticker on it, saying that this is in fact the real deal. I wonder if does it get a little dicey once a ball is caught by a fan and then makes its way back to a player, and there's normally some bartering involved. Here's a.
What do you mean?
Well, if there's, let's say that
To authenticate it?
to authenticate it, is it like Robbie's 300th home run?
I think you're in pretty good shape, but because you're going to have the TV cameras on you.
Sure.
Do you have any idea how long that's been around?
I don't. That's a good question. And I've never actually seen the authenticator. But he or she's around. Pretty cool job. Barreto pivot on to second. On to first, not in time. We've seen the speed already today by Hanneman. Shows it off again. The authenticator at Safeco sits right by one of the on-deck circles. So if you ever want to strike the
I've
conversation,
seen him moving around.
now batting,
Just not sure where they're at when we're on the road.
and
I was just wondering because I think it would be pretty cool.
pretty
have
interesting to
that.
learn about.
Yeah.
Two outs, Hanneman at first. Gamble at the plate, 0 for 2 so far today. Something that apparently has been around since 2001. An authenticator at every ballpark. AKA Tim Bogar.
Keeping an eye on Hanneman. He had a base hit in the 3rd inning and then was thrown out at second trying to steal. I know you've told me this, but I can't remember. Have you ever had a foul ball at a game?
As a spectator, I've never had.
That's what I mean.
No, never had.
As a fan.
As a fan, right. You have one as a kid?
No. I used to open up the King Dome early so we could get in there during batting practice, and I would run around
Sure.
left field, but that's not the
I
same.
mean,
yeah, exactly.
That's fishing with dynamite right there. Watch out. Hanneman almost gets picked off. But still more than what I have, so.
I have had one that I'm not sure that you would give me credit for as a fan.
Well, you lead in like that, I'm definitely not going to give you credit then. If you're already expecting it.
17,
Well, I'll just start. Does spring training count?
Yeah,
If you're at a game, spring training.
Yeah, I mean, that's a legitimate game. Like catch one at a minor league ballpark.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go, the authenticator.
Yeah.
Gentleman on the right.
I was walking through the concourse in Tempe a number of years ago, and a foul ball had come up that way. Bounced around a couple of times, just happened to ricochet right towards me. I ended up catching it. Does that count?
Like you weren't even trying.
No, I was just walking.
And it just happened to land gracefully right on your lap.
Yeah, pretty much.
What'd you do with it?
I gave it to a kid. I think I took all of maybe 2 steps with it, and
You were probably mobbed.
there were plenty of people that wanted the ball, so I gave it away. Mostly because I wasn't sure that spring training counted, and
Right.
you know, so I wasn't sure about that.
I'm glad you were already trying to rationalize the rules as you're being swarmed like a beehive. Through the right side. Hanneman tearing around third base. He crosses home and scores. Mariners trying to inch back into this ball game. 5-3, pardon me, A's. Which Haniger's first hit drives in a run.
And for Mitch, having a really good month of September. A good series for him, too. He also has a couple of home runs in the series. Scott Emerson, the pitching coach, out at the mound. Looks like somebody will start to get loose. For Graveman, 74 pitches so far. 74 pitches, 46 strikes.
You know, the only foul ball that I've really gotten in the booth, and I mean right to me, that I haven't ducked for cover for,
Right.
was in spring training, and Hall of Famer Peter Gammons was on air with us, sitting right next to me. So I mean, I'm fine ducking for cover when you're here, but with Gammons here, I mean, I gotta.
Was I there?
You were not there.
I was not there. Okay.
I mean, I have to show Peter Gammons a little bit, right?
I would think so.
Yeah, I totally dropped it.
Really?
Yeah. Fortunately, Gammons didn't call me out on it. I like to think I saved him a little bit, diving in front of him, but it was not good. Got a little nervous with the Hall of Famer in the booth.
At this point, I'm in favor of moving out of the way.
Self-preservation.
Yeah. When it stops bouncing around, I'll pick it up.
It makes me feel much better.
Well, it should. There was a number of years ago, I can't remember how many, maybe 5 years ago, 6 years ago. At Safeco, a ball had come up into the booth. I went to try to catch it, missed it. Same thing, went off the end of my fingers. And I decided that's
it.
That's it. That was it right there. Okay.
Truly a life-changing moment for you.
That's it. Well, that's enough.
Some activity in the bullpen. Liam Hendricks, Daniel Coulombe, who we saw last night. Mariners have the go-ahead at the plate. That's Robbie. Some good speed on the base paths. Gamble at second. Haniger at first.
For Graveman, he has pretty much stayed with the two-seam fastball, the sinker. There was another one at 94 miles an hour. A few change-ups from him today.
In play and off of Healy. Barreto backs him up and they get the out nonetheless. 3-4-1. 2 are left, but a run does score. The Mariners are within 2. The 40th anniversary of Mariners baseball, and a gentleman who has been around for 35 years hanging them up at the end of this season. Just a few games left. Producer engineer Kevin Crimmon. He's an icon, getting a little love up on the Coliseum video board. He's been working on that wave this year, Mike.
I actually went over in the third inning, in between the third and the fourth inning, and to talk to him about that exact.
Specifically the wave?
Well, they gave him a heads up that he was going to go on the board. And you can see where he was sitting. He's all the way in the back of that booth.
A moonshot out to left field. Gamble having to fight the sun on the track. The adjustment and the catch. Pretty impressive stuff, Ben Gamble.
Just a towering fly ball out to left field. And a lot of carry to it. Slams into the wall. You were just talking about him slamming into the wall
back in game one.
Yeah.
So did Kevin have his approach all the way down for?
No, I said one, you're going to have to go and stand up where the window is, and two, you have to work on the wave.
Right.
He did okay.
And you never know how long the wave's going to last. I mean, they had him up there for a solid 20 seconds.
Oh yeah.
One out for Ryan.
He had to go to the two-handed wave. The one hand.
The one hand. This wasn't cutting it anymore. I would say that the Kevin Crimmon farewell tour is right up there with Jeter, Rivera, Ortiz. Gifts in many cities. All of them have been edible,
which makes him happy.
Very happy. Ball to strike to Ryan Healy. Now, Healy was one of those who really helped to resurrect the baseball program in Eugene for the Ducks. A program that was dormant for decades. Former first-round draft pick out of Oregon. Motter having to fight the sun as well with two hands. There's out number two. Well, Mariners RBIs matter both on and off the field. For every Mariners RBI during the 2017 season, PACCAR makes a donation to the Page Ahead Children's Literacy Program. The Mariners thank PACCAR for their support in our community. There's nothing worse than botching a read for literacy, and that has been done before on my end. It's 2 up, 2 down for Chapman.
I was just thinking about something, talking about Kevin, because I haven't asked him this question. Maybe you have. You spend a lot more time with him, being over on the radio side for the most part. Is Kevin, for one, is a huge baseball fan, so he's obviously going to continue to go to the ballpark and watch games. I wonder where he would like to sit, because that's basically been his seat for 35 years. I wonder where he would like to sit.
Well, all I can tell you, and you know this as well as I do, we will be seeing Kevin plenty still. He'll be up in the booth.
Oh yeah.
I think his game plan is Sundays at Safeco Field with the Golf Channel on one TV in the booth, in the radio booth, and of course the best seat in the house looking straight out to the field. I think that's how Kevin will be spending his Sundays during the summer. Two outs now, 3-1 to Chapman.
That will be out of play.
.90 pitches now for Erasmo. Really only quick inning was the second when he threw 9 pitches. The fourth was especially taxing, faced 8 batters. You can see the pitch count by inning. Looking for a quick 5th. Two out, a walk.
We're going to call the pen.
Well, this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Seattle Mariners and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Seattle Mariners.
Ryan Garten getting loose last inning, so it will not take him long.
By the way, I'm glad we put Kevin up on the TV from the video board, because there are some people who genuinely have heard Kevin's name for the better part of 3 decades and have never actually seen what he looks like.
I know.
It's very important. And steps Bruce Maxwell with 2 outs and a man aboard. There goes Chapman, taking off. Motter down with the tag. Got him. Inning is over. Mike Margema cutting him down. Chapman out at second. We go to the 6th. Pretty accurate scouting report, Ange. Nicely done. There's Nelson Cruz to begin the 6th. Nelly, a 2-run shot his last time up. 117 miles an hour off the bat.
And now 38 home runs on the year, trying to get to 40. It would be 4 years in a row for him. A couple of hits today, so he has his average back to 290. Leads the American League with 117 RBIs.
I was thinking about him, Mike, hearing you talk about him potentially having 4 straight years with 40 home runs, already 3 in the books, of course.
Yeah.
Name just came to mind was Hank Aaron. Something that Aaron's never done.
Yeah.
Not even 3 years in a row. Guy was 755 home runs. You and I have talked about it just in our free time about Hank Aaron and how he was just the most consistent home run hitter ever. He had some big years, had 44 a couple of times, had a year of 39. But it was in this range of 30 to 40 home runs every season for about 20 years. Because that's how you get to 755.
You know what's interesting, and as I was becoming a fan, probably by the time I was, I don't know, 12, 13 years old, starting to recognize names and some of the history of the game, and his name came up, and my dad was telling me that he thought he was the best player, #1. Now, the thing that's interesting to me about it is I've seen clips and video of a lot of the great players. Nelson goes down swinging, including Willie Mays. I haven't seen, and I've seen some clips of Aaron at the end of his career when he broke the home run record in those things, but not in the middle of his career when he was still playing in the field.
Sure. Won a few Gold Gloves.
Yeah,
actually.
exactly. But you rarely see that. I have never seen it. Have you?
You know, now that you bring it up, I guess not.
No.
All-time RBI leader. Here's Kyle Seager. Seager 0 for 2 so far today.
Garden still throwing in the Mariner pen, so it looks like Ramirez is done.
Seager ahead 2-0. You know, Aaron was one of the interesting examples of a guy who was an all-star, had more all-star appearances than years that he actually played. He was a 25-time all-star.
Wow.
He played 23 seasons. There was a period of time there where there were actually 2 all-star games in the same season. Willie Mays is along that same note. Stan Musial as well. Go back 1959, July 7th, August 3rd. There are 4 years of 2 all-star games, with 59 being the first.
Kyle gets a walk. I'm sure you've seen it before, but most of the time the pitching coach has a counter, a clicker, keep track of pitches.
Right.
I'm going to get one of those next year over the course of the summer. On how many times I hear you say Stan Musial.
Let's see. I always work it in. See, there's a very easy. It fits in perfectly. So the whole thing with Aaron was a setup. It's a five-minute path to walk down. But
if you don't know by now, Stan Musial is Aaron's favorite player all time ever, which is fine. Great player. Great player. I'm just not sure that they hear about him 300 times. That's great.
I felt like it worked seamlessly. If I left him off, it would be disrespectful. Notice I said Mays first, actually.
Yes, you did.
Trying to camouflage it somewhat.
But nobody can see the big smile on your face.
The fist pump.
Yeah.
That was for you.
Thank you.
0-2 on Vogelbach, looking for his first. It flew out to the warning track in left field his first time up. Another shot the opposite way. Davis coasting back in front of the track to make the catch. Now number 2. That's the second time that Vogelbach has gone out to the warning track there today. Well, here's your chance to actually wear what the players wear. Fans can bid on game used jerseys from last month's MLB Players Weekend. Each player choose a unique nickname to wear across their back. Check out the entire lineup and place your bid now at mariners.com/auction. Auction closes tomorrow, so hurry up. Corey's brother on the back of Kyle's back during Players Weekend. Mariners were in the Bronx for that. We had a chance to talk with John Sterling then, because John, the voice of the Yankees on radio, of course, came up with Robbie's nickname, which was on his back, don't you know? John was very pleased to see that nickname was had stick at least long enough to stay on his back for Players Weekend. Motter with 7 home runs to tie and run at the plate. As Graven nears 100 pitches. Liam Hendricks continues to stir, hard throwing right-hander in the A's bullpen. Chapman staying with it, throwing from foul ground. The stretch. What a play. Chapman does it again. That is Machado and Arenado-esque for the rookie third baseman. Getting a guy who runs well also. That is some kind of play. As we open up the bottom of the 6th inning, that is it on the day for Erasmo Ramirez. Mike, his final line.
5 innings, 8 hits, 5 runs, just 3 of them earned, a couple of walks, 2 strikeouts. He threw 92 pitches.
That takes us to our Beacon Plumbing call to the pen. New pitcher up on the mound, Ryan Garten.
17 appearances on the year, 18 2/3. He has 12 strikeouts, over 5 walks. Opponent's hitting .239. Fastball at 93 miles an hour. Slider, curve, changeup to go with it.
Very familiar battery, both coming over from Tampa Bay. Garten and Marjama. This is Maxwell, number 7, hitting catcher to lead things off. Maxwell an RBI single back in the 4th. And we have just barely gotten to know Mike Marjama a little bit. And there was some question as to when he first came to the Mariners to exactly how do you say his last name? Marjama? Marjama? And when I approached Mike in the clubhouse, he is as pleasant of a guy as you can ask for. And I reached down, I shook his hand, I introduced myself, and I said, I want to make sure I'm saying your name right. And he just held the handshake and looked at me and said, how do you think you say it? And I could just feel that handshake, the vice just closing tighter. Pressure was mounting. Well, I would go with Marjama. He smiled and let go. That's right. That's right. Okay, well, good. I don't know what happens if I would have said Marjama. Or Marjama, pardon me. In his first big league start today. Garten strikes out Maxwell. Always a special day for a young player. Now, this is something, when we were talking to Andy McKay about Mike, and we mentioned their relationship already. Mike, you can speak to this as well as anybody. I think it's so important not to lose sight of this, whether you work in baseball or you're a fan of baseball. Everybody's got a story, and how big a day this is for Mike Margima.
There's a number of them, and for him, first getting to the big leagues for the first time, getting a uniform, obviously getting into a game, picking up your first hit, which he was able to do today. Because I think when you're, especially when you're a young player, all those firsts are things that you were never guaranteed it, and you never know if it's coming back, because you're just so busy all the time fighting your way to get there. So it's just nice to have those things taken care of, because look, not many players that have come up through the minor leagues will ever see a big league field. So it's pretty cool. Home run will be the next one for him.
2 balls and a strike to Marcana. Reminds me of one of the great baseball reference pages, that of Rangers manager Jeff Bannister. Almost a true Moonlight Graham. 1-for-1 lifetime of the major leagues.
Is that right? Yeah, there you go.
He actually got an at-bat, unlike Moonlight.
And Mike will always remember Kendall Graveman. So he had his first hit off up.
Who's got this? Vogel back over. Marchman as well. Garden, the pitcher, can't make the catch.
We'll take a look at it. Difficult for the catcher, and he actually bumps into the hitter right there and has to pick the ball up again. So he's not going to get there in time. I think Garten realized the same thing with Vogelback, who was playing towards the hole and deep at first base.
No error, simply no play. The 3-2. Seager on one hop. Good stretch there by Vogelback at first base. 2 outs. Now this postseason, get ready for excitement, drama, and thrilling plays. The 2017 Major League Baseball postseason begins October 3rd. Go to MLB.com/postseason for a full schedule.
And then I think on that play, when they get to the dugout, we will talk to Daniel. He needs to take charge on that play. Mark Sepchinski getting loose in the pen for the Mariners.
Barreto, just 21 years old, out of Venezuela. Top prospect for the A's. More than likely, Barreto will begin next season in the minors. Marcus Semien at shortstop for Oakland. Barreto's played mostly second shortstop over the course of his minor league career, although did see time this year at second base. Jed Lowry, more than likely back next year with the A's for one more season, but not a guarantee.
And another chance.
Margima gets ready for it, puts it away for round number 3. That'll do it in the bottom of the 6th inning. We'll be seeing Ben Gamble coming up. Mariners baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by BNSF Railway, sponsor of the BNSF Blasts, by CenturyLink, connecting you to the power of the digital world, and by Money Tree, proud to make a donation to Mariners Care for every Mariners win. And we're humming it home.
Go ahead.
We got 13 miles an hour. You got room to grow. You can be suspended for throwing behind a batter like that these days. Oh! Sign that young man up. That was Kremen's first pitch a few nights ago. Here's Mike Marjamum looking for his second big league hit. Fouls off the first offering, 0-1. Now Kendall Graveman done for the day, nearly 100 pitches.
7 hits, 3 runs, all of them earned. And 1 walk, 4 strikeouts, 99 pitches for him.
Oh, 2. Liam Hendricks, our new pitcher.
68 appearances on the year, a 4.31 ERA, 76 strikeouts, over 23 walks. Good fastball at 95 miles an hour. Slider curve changeup.
Shoots this out towards right field. Joyce is there. Leadoff man retired. We take a look at our Geico this date in big league history. Back in 1973, the strikeout king Nolan Ryan sets the big league record with his 383rd strikeout of the season. It happened to come in the 11th inning, the final batter he faced that season. That broke Sandy Koufax's record of 382, so he was running out of time but was able to get the record. Strike 1 to Hanneman.
Hanneman 1 for 2, scored a run.
Swing through 96. Hanneman an infield single and a run scored.
Hendricks just staying right at the top of the strike zone. All fastballs so far.
Appealed, it does not go. 2-2. Rips through 95, 2 outs. We're talking about that record-setting strikeout season for Nolan Ryan. I think it's important if you really look at his numbers, Mike. He was so one of a kind with those strikeouts in his era, especially early. I mean, you look at that year, he actually finished second in the Cy Young to Jim Palmer. He had 225 more strikeouts than Palmer did that year. 225 more. Had more innings, had 7 more complete games. Only had 1 fewer win. That was such a big criteria in those days when voting on the Cy Young. His ERA 2.87, Palmer's 2.40. Palmer knows his numbers better than anybody. Next year when we see Jim Palmer, I'll let you ask him how he beat Nolan Ryan for the Cy Young that year.
I want you to ask him if he knows that it's 225.
How about that? And Bert Blyleven in that era was striking out a ton of hitters.
But he was more the curve.
More the curve. Nobody had the velocity. All right, now
also with a really good curveball.
Maybe we take strikeout pitchers more for granted now because there's just so many more of them. But that time, that era in baseball, Ryan was far and away the king.
Well, and at that time, it mattered to the hitters to not strike out. Obviously, not as many home runs, and they didn't like to strike out, so you would think it would be more difficult.
They were choking up, is that what you're saying?
That's right. Just try to put the ball in play if they could.
Full count. Hey, along those lines, Mike. Entering today, we were knocking on the door for the 10th consecutive season with a major league strikeout record. We were roughly 50 punch-outs away from setting that mark today. 16 more to go around baseball, so that will happen by the end of today.
Yep.
15 more. Time to stretch. 5-3 Oakland. Lottery, you can stretch your imagination like never before. Play today. Now the moon. The moon is out. It's got above the stadium. Little day baseball here in Oakland. You go to the bottom of the 7th. Good look behind the scenes here in the Coliseum. Top of the order due up for the A's. It begins with Marcus Semien. Garten back up on the mound, starts him off with strike 1.
Sepchinski and Altavella both getting loose. See if Scott wants to go to matchups. You have Joyce on deck, the left-handed hitter.
It's over by the bullpen. Oh no. Oh no. Security's on it. Rolled to Seager near the line. Gets rid of it quickly. There's out number 1. Well, we have another Beacon Plumbing High School football game coming up tomorrow. Tune in to see the Tumwater Thunderbirds battle the still to come Sentinels at 7 p.m. Pacific. Don't miss the action this season on Root Sports. Brought to you by Beacon Plumbing, Heating, and Electrical. Stop freaking. Call Beacon. Pitching change. Garten is out. 1 out, nobody on. We'll step aside. Is leading the Mariners 5-3. Well, don't miss Big Sky Conference football this fall on Root Sports, presented by your local Ford store. The action continues this Saturday, 12:30 p.m. Pacific, as the Weber State Wildcats travel to take on the Montana State Bobcats. For a full broadcast schedule, visit rootsports.com. Mark Szybczynski, the new pitcher on the mound for the Mariners.
61 appearances. 2-1 record, a 3.77 ERA. In 31 innings, he has 24 strikeouts. Opponents hitting .241. Two-seam fastball at 92 miles an hour. Pretty good sink to it, and a slider.
Well, he is trying to hold Joyce off the base paths, and in particular keep him from doubling for what would be the 4th time in this game. He's 3 for 3 as smacked a trio of doubles. David Peralta of the Diamondbacks this year, the only player in the majors to hit 4 doubles in a game. Was the first to do that since Brock Holt in 2014 with the Red Sox. Swings right through it. First time that Joyce has been put out. 2 down.
I think he gets him on the slider. Down out of the strike zone. Yep, gets him to chase it.
Little mix and match. Szybczynski does his job. Switch hitter Jed Lowry is due up. Dan Altavilla coming out of the pen. 2 outs, bottom of the 7th. Take a look, Mike, at our Columbia Bank difference of the game. Final game of this series. Mariners will have to come behind for the sweep. Starting pitchers on either side.
Paul Ramirez, 5 innings, 8 hits, 5 runs, just 3 of them earned. First couple of games, Mariners played some really good defense. A little bit shaky today, including Erasmo with an error. That didn't help. 92 pitches for him. Kendall Graveman, a lot of ground ball out. 6 innings, 3 runs, all of them earned.
Altavilla, the new pitcher for the Mariners. 3 pitchers to get 3 outs here in the 7th.
And for Dan, fastball mid to upper 90s with a hard slider. Feeling pretty good lately. We've seen his fastball right around 96 to 98 miles an hour.
97 that time.
40th appearance on the year. 49 strikeouts, over 20 walks. Opponents hitting .246.
It'll be interesting to see what Dan can do during the offseason to iron out those command problems. We know when he's throwing strikes like he did last year, he's as deadly as any reliever. Behind 3-1 to Lowry.
Well, you can see it because of the velocity and having the slider, why they like him pitching out of the bullpen. He was a starter. I wonder if that is something that he'll ever get back to again, being a starter. I know a couple of times this year, just to try to help him out and let him go multiple innings.
Chance to work on some things.
Yeah, get a better feel for it.
Lowry gets a piece back to the glove of Marjama, and that ends the inning. 3 pitchers, 3 outs. We go to the 8th. We make our way to the top of the 8th. 2, 3, and 4 due up for the Mariners. Here is Mitch Haniger. RBI single back in the 5th.
Chris Hatcher, pretty good arm. Average fastball 95 this year. Slider, cutter, curveball to go with it, and a split.
Has not allowed a run over his last 11 appearances. There's a shot out to center field. One hop to Canna. Couple of hits today for Mitch Haniger, leadoff single. Well, you know, Mike, we can't come to Oakland. I have some video evidence of Mike Blowers hitting for the cycle.
Wow.
How about this? And we ambushed you with this one.
Yeah.
Back on May the 18th of 1998. I don't know what this fly out to right field in the third inning was all about, Mike, but everything else is pretty solid. Leadoff dinger, 2-run double, a single, RBI triple, showing off the wheels. Autograph, wearing number 6 at the time, I see.
Yeah.
Ricky Henderson was leadoff hitter that day for the A's. I would be eager to hear how he congratulated you after your triple.
That was in Chicago when I was playing for the A's on the road.
Here's Robbie. Now, if you wonder where exactly that home plate came from, you're looking at him. Ken Korak, longtime voice of the Oakland A's, actually purchased that display case with the autographed home plate at an A's auction, and he is the proud owner of Mike Blowers' cycle home plate. And I said last year, or maybe it was earlier this year, I said, Ken, you gotta, when you're home, you gotta take a picture of that. You gotta send it to me. And there it was.
Great. He let me know that he was able to get it too.
Not sure how Mrs. Korak feels about the decorations in the household.
I'm pretty sure it's in the garage.
Rifle shot, high, deep, crushed. Robinson Cano. That is a grown man's home run. His 23rd of the season, inching closer to 100 RBIs on the year. He's got 96. We are right back where we started, all tied at 5. My goodness.
Yeah, not much doubt about that one. Looked like it was a fastball out over the plate. And we've seen this a lot over the last month. Hitting the ball the other way, and this time he hits it with authority out to center field, left center.
Mentioned Hatcher hadn't give up a run in 11 outings. That has changed. You have to. Ball and a strike to Cruz. And I don't know, Mike, it's kind of tough to go through all the Robbie home runs in your head, but I'm not used to seeing that type of height on a Cano home run. Normally, not that they're line drives, but that was skied and obviously the opposite way. Also impressive.
422 feet.
Official measurement. Two balls and a strike to Cruz. I've seen a couple of game-tying home runs by some big Mariners bats. Cruz, 2-run shot to tie it in the 4th. Robinson Cano in the 8th.
And the 3 games, the Mariners have hit 6 home runs.
A chop off the plate. Semien in stride. 1 out.
And the numbers for Hatcher: 46 appearances, a 3.81 ERA. He's given up 9 home runs. Was hitting .243. Again, his average fastball this year at 95.
See what Seager can do here facing a right-hander. Now, Mike, if you don't mind indulging me again, I know you've said it before, but you do need to tell us again what Ronald Washington said to you at third base as you completed the cycle.
Well, it was one of those games where, and I can't remember the score, but we won it by a pretty good margin. And by the time I hit the triple,
it was 14-0.
Okay, so by the time I hit the triple, the game was pretty much in hand. I believe it was in the 8th inning, and so I slide into third, a pop-up slide. Pretty excited about it because I realized that I've just hit for the cycle. I think I was the only one in the ballpark to do it. And that's what Washington, he looked at me and asked me what I was so excited about.
And he was serious.
He was dead serious. I said I just hit for the cycle, and I don't think he believed me.
It was one of your 8 career triples, by the way.
Yeah, how about that?
So good timing on your part, my friend.
How about that? I tricked him into the triple, by the way.
Oh, really? What do you mean?
I mean, everything I hit that day for whatever reason was to right center field. So by the time that I came up my last time, Maglio Ordonez was the right fielder for the White Sox at the time. Was all the way over in right center field, and I hit a slicing ball down into the right field
set
corner.
him up.
Yeah, he had to run 100 yards to pick it up.
That's great. I did not know that element of the story. Twice Vogelbach has flown out towards the warning track in left field. Getting his first start since being called up in September. Cano has tied this game with a 2-run homer. This is laced to right field. Joyce, the catch. Now number 3. That is where it rests. 2-run shot. Robinson Cano. Number 23 has even the score. Begin the bottom of the 8th. Now tune in Sunday to watch the final edition of Mariners All Access for the season. Get exclusive player interviews, behind-the-scenes footage, and Mariners stories you just can't find anywhere else. If you missed Sunday's episode, tune in for re-airs throughout the week on Root Sports. For your local programming schedule, visit rootsports.com. Chris Davis begins the home 8th. Looking at strike 1. Altavilla back out there.
Aaron, don't want to shortchange the guys. Last inning I said 6 home runs in the series. It's actually 8 home runs in the series.
That's been tough to keep track of, keep up with. They've been matching them. Hanneman nearing the track. Always nice to see Chris Davis jogging back to the dugout. One out for Ryan Healy.
Now batting first baseman, number 25, Ryan.
There you can see the home run total. Mariners with 8, Oakland with 3 in the series.
Mariners record for home runs in a series is 13. You got to go all the way back to 1999, Mariners and Twins. But 8's not too shabby. Time for another home run or two. Two and 0. Missing with a fastball, falling behind 3-0 to Healy, a guy with 25 home runs. Seager guards the line, stays with it, and the throw to first base in time.
That's why you guard the line late in the game when you have a tie ball game. Well, actually came up a little bit, hit him on the heel of his glove, but stays with it. Strong throw. Hits him by a step.
A's third baseman Matt Chapman. He's reached each time up in various ways, a single, an error, and a walk. Stares at strike one. Oh, and 2. Back-to-back breaking balls. I mentioned how much better the A's have been at home versus on the road. Chapman with some, this kind of continues the trend. Kind of more you peel back the layers, it's amazing. Extreme home road splits. 283 hitter at home, a 165 hitter on the road. A lift to center. Hanneman fighting the sun. Does he have the space? He does. He puts it away for out number 3. We are off to the 9th, all tied at 5. A couple of changes. Blake Treinen, the new pitcher, he has taken over as the A's closer.
Number 10, Yonder.
He throws hard. His average fastball 97 miles an hour. Slider, cutter, changeup to go with it. This will be his 70th appearance. 14 saves on the year. ERA just over 4. 72 strikeouts, over 24 walks.
Yonder Alonso pinch hitting. Batting in Motter's spot. 7th in the order to start the 9th inning. We saw Treinen earlier this year with the Nationals. As you remember, the Nationals had just a world of hurt when it came to their bullpen. Treinen was auditioned for a while to be their closer. It did not work out. He came over to the A's, and the deal that sent Sean Doolittle and Ryan Madson to our nation's capital. The 0-2.
Shea Simmons getting loose in the Mariner pen.
Doolittle, by the way, has really flourished in D.C. A 1.86 over 29 appearances. More strikeouts than innings pitched. Guy who's really beloved here in the Bay Area. Go ahead run at the plate. Ground ball up the middle. Semien arranging a 360 in the throw on line. Well, Semien, who's had his defensive problems, making that one look pretty smooth.
Number 28, Mike Marzano.
Seems over the last couple of years, though, he's been improving, getting a little bit better.
Well, we were just talking about Ron Washington.
Right.
He has spent as much time with Wash during his time as the infield coach and third base coach with the A's as anybody.
Wash now with Atlanta.
Here's Marjama, a slicer into right field, and he dunks it in for a base hit. Extra bases await him. Mike Marjama stands up at second base. His first career big league hit of the 5th. His first hit for extra bases here in the 9th, and he represents the go-ahead run.
We'll take a look at it. Fastball jammed him a little bit. Ball spinning sideways, so it gets away from the right fielder Joyce. An easy double. Pinch runner. Beckham's going to go out and run for him.
Nice day for Marjama.
Number 6, Gordon Beckham running for Seattle.
We saw Beckham last night get the start at third base for Kyle Seager. Had that spectacular catch behind the tarp that resulted in a double play. In steps rookie Jacob Hanneman. Chance to drive in the go-ahead run. Looking at 98. Hanneman, a fantastic athlete, went to BYU originally as a two-sport athlete. Football and baseball. Was a wide receiver, defensive back type. Close pitch, 1-1. Ended up focusing just on baseball eventually for BYU, but his brother now plays for the BYU football team as Edwin Diaz loosens up alongside Shea Simmons. A lot of velocity right now in that Mariners bullpen.
And on the mound for the A's, Treinen has been 97, 98 miles an hour with his fastball.
One skip. Simeon on to third base. Beckham.
They all thought he was safe. Beckham thought he was safe. Acta thought he was safe. It looked as if Beckham, when he was diving, he pulled his right hand back.
And
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure that Chapman actually touched him, and they're going to ask him to take a look at it. A huge play in the game, but a great slide by Beckham. A fielder's choice for Hanneman. There's the slide. That's when he pulls the right hand back. Well, he definitely didn't touch his right arm. Now we'll take another look. See if he touches his jersey before his hand gets in there. That is close. Aaron, what do you think?
You know, I was saying in my head, safe, 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 and then all of a sudden I saw that glove on there. That was, this view doesn't tell us enough.
No, you can tell that he doesn't touch the right arm, which you can see the great slide by Beckham. But you can't tell if he touches the jersey. He will touch the jersey, but is his hand, his finger touching the base?
Finger on the base now?
Yeah, I think he's safe. It'll be interesting. Unfortunately, he was called out. So we'll see if they can see enough. But Beckham and Manny Acta, the third base coach, both immediately turned around to the dugout as they thought he was safe. Ben Gamble will be the next hitter.
Well, this is a huge swing regardless of which way it goes. Either 2 outs runners at first or 1 out runners on the corners.
They just showed it in a ballpark, and I was watching Scott Service, and he gave the safe sign, so he's with you. Anyway, he wants him to be safe.
Very unbiased. This is taking them a little while. You know, in real time, that slide came up so short of the bag. You thought that there'd be no way. That's a heck of a swim move, though, by Beckham. And we saw last night, Mike, how well Beckham runs. I mean, he can really burn.
Well, here we go.
Ah. That call stands.
Ball on the field stands. The runner is on third.
Now, tough to find any inconclusive evidence to overturn that. Out number 2. So here's Gamble, 2 down, a man at first base. Mike, what do you make of Beckham taking off to third base where that ball was hit?
Yeah, that was a tough one because it was basically hit right at him. We've talked about this before, where the shortstops, they'll move around, especially with the way the defenses are playing right now. And typically, if it's to your right, it's an automatic stay. To your left, it's an automatic go. And right after, you have to make a decision right away. And unfortunately for him, the shortstop was right there, and the ball was hit really hard. That's what made it such an easy play for the shortstop to get there, and why it beat him by so much. Most of the time, you want to make sure that it gets through in that situation.
Good speed at first in Hanneman. Good snare at first. We are seeing the A's as Healy ends the inning. A little atypical defensive clinic the last couple of days. The battery in total, in fact. Simmons hard throwing right-hander. Gordon Beckham taking over at shortstop for Motter. And Zunino behind the plate.
His fastball will be in the mid-90s. Seven appearances on the year, a 1.35 ERA. He has thrown the ball well for the Mariners. 7 strikeouts in 6 2/3.
He's facing the bottom third of the order. It begins with catcher Bruce Maxwell. It was Robinson Cano to tie this game up as we take a look at Beckham. 2-run homer for Robbie. Zunino behind the plate. Should there be a 10th, and hopefully there is, Haniger, Cano, and Cruz due up for the Mariners. Check swing. And he goes. Home plate umpire takes care of that himself, Tom Woodring.
And we'll take a look at it. Thought maybe he would ask for help, but ends up making the call himself.
Marcano, the sacrifice fly back in the 4th inning. Left field. This is big time trouble. Gamble watching. And this game is over. Walk-off home run, Mark Canha. A's win this and win the game 6-5. The Mariners do take the series, however.
Kind of the story of the series. A lot of home runs. The Mariners ended up hitting 8 home runs, winning 2 of the games. That was the 4th home run for the A's in this series.
Couple of home runs on the Mariners side. Cruz and Cano both game-tying home runs. Robbie's 422 feet, his 23rd. But tied this game at 5. But Canha, his 5th homer of the season. And this is all she wrote for the Mariners here today. A's avoid the sweep. A walk-off for Oakland. Day off tomorrow for the Mariners in the final 3 games of the season in Anaheim. Right now, we'll send you off. Mariners post-game presented by Alaska Airlines starts right now. Bill, Angie, guys, take it away.